Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Talk Zone. Got a solo one here for you today. We had a guest lined up that didn't work out, and which is totally okay. We understand, things happen. It was a coworker of mine. We were going to do it during the work week, and it just didn't work out. I was hosting the Thanksgiving meal at work, which is, if you're trying to move up in a company, there's literally no better way than to offer to run the Thanksgiving work meal at the office. Especially as a man, you want a lot of people as a guy saying, "I'll do this social thing," because the gals are like, "Oh my God, we don't have to fucking worry about this shit. Thank God." And there's a little bit of a, he's an idiot, he'll fuck this up. And, there's some truth to that. Certainly some truth to that. But, they feel like, oh, he's trying. It's good. Good. He's trying. Good for him. He's giving it a shot. He's saying, hey, this is not something that only we can do or that only we must do. And they were very helpful in guiding me like a toddler down to the path of success. And I'm probably going to get a $10,000 raise because I hosted Thanksgiving at my office. So, but anyway, despite that, so I ate, long story short, I ate way too much food and I got drunk off champagne. And I didn't want to do a podcast with my coworker / boss. So, we'll find some time. We'll do it. He's got some really interesting opinions on art, which I know you guys are all really dying to hear about art. I know you guys are a big fan of the arts. You're listening to this podcast. So I know that you all are just, at the forefront of culture in America, which I thank you for very much. Also want to thank the old Springmeister, Justin Springer, for being on last week. It was the longest podcast I think I'd ever produced in my entire life. I think sometimes I have dreams that it's still going on in an alternate universe somewhere. So we talked a lot about a lot of different things, and I think all of them very interesting. So yeah, if you ever needed to know where a buckling spring keyboard exists in Kentucky, send somebody to this podcast and we'll make it happen. We'll get that set up for them. So yeah, let me see here. I haven't done a solo podcast in a while, so we'll see how this goes. But luckily, because I've taken all these improv courses, I should be able to just make it up, right? Like that's what you do. You spend, $500-$600 on improv courses, because debt is a figment of your imagination. Debt doesn't exist. Debt is that's just a 4-letter word that the government has invented to make the sheep complacent. And so instead of spending money paying down credit card debt, I spend money on improv courses. It's good for the economy. It's good for the arts. It's good for you fine people out there. I am doing the most American thing that I could possibly think of, and that is pay the minimum on my credit card payments, continue to grow the interest that I will accrue over the next 30 or 40 years. Let that grow, right? Some people like to let their investments grow. I like to let my debt grow. Because again, it stimulates the economy. it's much more patriotic than being selfish and letting your own investments grow so that you can maybe one day retire. It's a little selfish, if I do say so myself. How about you do the American thing for once? I mean, I don't know if you know this, guys, but World War III is already happening. Okay, World War III is playing out as we speak. Okay, Ukraine, it's not going so well. Okay, that Ukraine is the Poland of World War III. I don't know if you are aware of that, but that's just the truth of the matter. Taiwan is the Taiwan is the Vietnam of World War III, and Korea is the Korea of World War III. And so things are rough out there. All right, it's not going well, and the only way that we as Americans can contribute is not by going overseas. That's definitely not it. Okay? The only way for you as an American to contribute to the success of the United States in the midst of what will be in 50 years from now, it's not right. It's not called that right now because it's happening right now. You know, that's, hindsight's 2020. We're not going to call it World War III until it's peaked. And we look back on it. We're like, oh man, everybody was doing that, huh? We all kind of played a role in that, didn't we? You kind of have to do a little bit of a head count of the world before you can say, yeah, that was a war of the world. Yeah, absolutely. Didn't mention Israel though. I don't want to get too political, so we're not going to mention Israel. But anyway, my point is, you must, if you want us to win this race, you must take out classes at the local improv comedy school in your city. You must not pay any of your debt. Just keep it going. Just keep it going. That's all we're trying to do at the end of the day. We're just trying to keep things going here. We're not trying to build anything of significance. We're just trying to keep the goddamn plates spinning. When I was in my 20s, I read all of these books about how you're supposed to keep the plate spinning. And, were those books about how to gaslight and manipulate women using low-key verbal abuse to make you feel better about why they don't want to have sex with you, and somehow you think that treating them like they're pieces of shit will somehow make them want to have sex with you, even though the truth is that really only works for people who are already attractive and want to have that people want to have sex with in the first place. That really only works for them. But hey, you read it from a book. This guy's a professional, right? He probably knows what he's talking about. That's really what the plate spinning was about. But I think it applies to this country as well. So let's keep the plate spinning. Speaking of plates, we got Thanksgiving coming up. We have we have the holidays are fast approaching. I think that is a beautiful time to reflect about how things are going and where we think they're going to go. I've certainly been doing a lot of reflecting on my life and my future. And also this year. This has been a wild year. 2024 for me personally, and I think for the rest of you out there as well, I can't say to the same extent because I don't know your lives, but to at least some extent has been really one for the record books. 2024 has been a year of setting the stage for what is to come. For better or for worse, it is setting the stage for what is to come. And I won't go too deep into the political ramifications of that, even though, as I said, we are already in World War III. That will happen. That is happening. so, again, keep going to Build-A-Bear, keep going to, your local regional, keep going to First Watch. That's the best way that you can contribute, is by standing in line at First Watch for upwards of an hour and a half for some lukewarm scrambled eggs. That's the only way you're going to help this nation get back up on its feet. So continue doing that. You're doing a great job. 2024 has been a year of developments for me. I've probably been, I think of all of the years that I've been on this earth, I don't think I've been as, I gotta sneeze. Ooh, is it going to go away? Is it going to go away? Is it going to go away? I feel like because I'm not talking right now, I'm able to keep the men at bay, but I fear that as I begin talking more, okay, I'm a little stuffy right now. Should I get it out? Should I get it out? I'm going to get it out, and then we're going to cut this. All right, hang on. Hello. All right, and we are back. I have successfully blown my nose. We have gotten all of the itty-bitty boogies out of there, and I'm feeling good. I'll tell you, I think a common sign, and this is important for you to take note of this, a common sign of a person's socioeconomic background is when they have to sneeze or when they have to blow their nose, be very mindful about what they reach for, okay? If they are reaching for a tissue, that person had it good, okay? That person had gold-plated toilets, okay? That person probably drives a Tesla. They drive the high-level Model X, we'll say. If you reached for a paper towel, guess what? You were poor. Paper towels are the sliced bread of the cleanup disposable product. And what I mean by that is, if you're poor, you can only afford one disposable paper product, okay? There are no tissues. There are no Kleenex. God forbid Kleenex. Oh my God. A name brand anything? I mean, we'll call it Kleenex. It's actually Dollar Tree tissue number 9 product, right? I mean, that's really what it is. We'll call it Kleenex, but we all know. Because you just don't have, you can't get it. You can't afford that stuff. So I, being raised poor, I reached for the paper towel, and it makes Allison so angry because she's like, why don't you use the thing that you're supposed to use, which is a tissue? There's aloe in it. She's like, your nose looks like it has third-degree burns because you use paper towels to blow your nose with. And here's the thing. I'm never going to change, okay? That's just the way it is. Paper towels are so much sturdier than tissues. I feel like I can't get comfortable with Kleenex. Kleenex to me is like it's like a girl who's very cute and very pretty, but also would never be comfortable with you farting around her. That's what Kleenex is to me. And so paper towels, I can really just get in there. And I can I can do a weekly nose blow, right? Where I just save it all up and I just go to town on the paper towel. And it takes it, right? Paper towels live a hard life. And that is necessary for people who live hard lives, especially when you have been I wouldn't say working. We aren't working. Just because we're poor doesn't mean that we're working. In fact, it probably means the opposite. So, you've been sitting here gathering boogies all day. You need something that's going to survive the onslaught that you're about to present it. It's a little tangent there. Sipping a little coffee today. There's no better time to podcast than when you are sitting in your favorite chair in the morning sipping coffee. I'm actually in a recliner right now. I'm sitting in my favorite recliner, and I'm suspended in midair. My feet are up in the air like I'm at the gynecologist. I assume, I don't know, but I assume that's what it's like. And I think that's the best time to podcast, when you're at your most comfy and you're at your most vulnerable. I think we should normalize podcasting when you're at your most vulnerable. Okay? Recliner, drinking coffee, start podcasting. Okay? Driving to work, you hate your life, turn on the microphone, start podcasting. You're at your father's deathbed, right? In the hospital. Things are not going so well. Okay? What do? We turn on the mic, right? We got to say how you're feeling about it. People need to know how you're feeling about everything. We need to create content. The only way for people to get on with their lives is for you to create content so that they can feel something. Because you're saying, here's what I feel. They're saying, oh, I can feel that too. I had no idea. And in fact, in many ways, they've never felt that because we've not given them permission to. So put it all out there. I mean, this is the economy now. Content is the economy. And this is the only way that we're going to be able to make a living in 10 years is everybody just has a microphone and says things into it, and people go, huh, okay. And then hopefully we give them some money for it. And then we all just keep moving along. I think that's what the U.S. economy is going to be pretty soon. It's just we're all just passing $5 a month to each other just to support each other's podcast, which is actually a self-sustaining economy. It's actually a great model. It's actually way better than what it is today. So 2024 has been quite a year of setting the stage for what is to come. I've probably been more openly creative this year than maybe any other year of my life. And I say that well, I think what I mean by that is, I've done a lot of different things this year that I've wanted to do a little bit of for probably the last 10 years. I've just never done it. Podcasting, we've done that before. I think that we took it into a different direction this year, and I'm very happy with the way things have gone. It's been really cool to meet all these different people who have different, all of these various white men, straight white men who have various varied backgrounds from myself, and let's see, what did all we do this year? We did the podcast, right? We did improv. We did stand up for the very first time this year, and we have continued to do it. It's not something that I've quit. A little bit of music here and there, made the theme song. Graphic design. I've been making design flyers for various people and myself, and it's it's been a lot of fun doing all of these different things and really stretching myself creatively, and I've really enjoyed that. I was talking about with Allison yesterday about my college experience and how it wasn't. She was like, I feel like you probably had a really great college experience because you're so extroverted. Well, I'm not extroverted, but because you're so affable, right? And so, and I had to explain to her that really was not the case, and it was actually a really lonely time for me because I'm not naturally good at making friendships. Once you get me in a room with people, I can do a pretty good job of getting along and making friends and cracking jokes and and having people go, I like that guy. That guy's okay. I don't hate that guy. So, that happens, but as far as like actually going out and seeking the relationships, especially in a public setting where you can sort of avoid a lot of those interactions, I'm going to choose avoid interactions every single time. And so I didn't spend a whole lot of time talking to people outside of class. It was really more and I didn't even have a roommate for a good chunk of it. I was kind of just living on my own, and so other than my roommate and his stoner friends, who not the best conversationalists, unfortunately, but oh my god, these neighbors are walking by with this little teeny tiny dog with this pink overcoat on. And of course she's making him carry the dog. Yikes. But college was a lot of just me in the library reading in between classes and obsessing over girls that I had crushes on but never had the guts to talk to and to be able to move on from. And so it's been sort of a renaissance year for me that I've been able to create these opportunities and just kind of put myself out there. And I feel like I've made a lot of connections this year and with a lot of really great people who I would love to maybe spend some more time with and get to know. So, thinking about like what that means for next year, I think that, I think we've dipped our toes in the water, so to speak, in a lot of different areas. And I think that if 2024 was about figuring out what the vision was, I think 2025 will be about executing on the vision. 2025 will be about narrowing the scope of what matters and what needs to happen to move forward and make some really cool stuff. So really excited to see what happens. Really excited to hone in, get tight, get right, new body, new you. But having said that, the year is not yet over. We have not finished our era of self-loathing and over consuming too much food. So Thanksgiving's coming up. Really excited to eat a ton of carbs. Thanksgiving is one of the only meals where it's just collectively, universally acceptable to have at least 2 potato dishes at the same time, not counting mac and cheese, which is not a potato dish, but it is a carby dish. And which that's what I think that's what the original settlers intended, was for us to ring in the holiday shopping season with gigantic balloons and James Bond movie marathons and just eat way too much food. Because, back then it made sense to do all that, right? Because you didn't know when your next meal was going to be. Here it's almost like, I have to eat way too much to make up for the fact that I'm not eating McDonald's today. Like, if anything, Thanksgiving is like sort of a low point for our overconsumption habits because of how bland turkey can be. Turkey's one of the most bland meats in existence, and so we have to douse it with gravy and stuffing, right? And and we can pretend, right? We can say, oh well, the stuffing has celery in it. Not in this house, it doesn't. In this house, there is no celery to be had in our stuffing, because here's the thing: we're not this is not a household where we like to beat around the bush, and we like to drop the pretense, so to speak. It's going to be 2 potato dishes, okay? It's going to be bread. It's going to be cheese and pasta shells, okay? I'm not even thinking about the turkey. Honestly, you could fuck the turkey. Just give me the sides, Why don't we just start eating sides for Thanksgiving? I mean, that's really all anybody cares about anyway, or the sides. And I had a really funny situation happen at work a couple of weeks ago. We were making fun of I was looking at the list of what people brought for Thanksgiving last year. And at the very end, everything pretty much checked out. You had deviled eggs, you had, all of the hits, all the things I said earlier. And at the very end, you had someone brought rainbow chard salad, to which I said, this is why this person doesn't work here anymore. This is why this person was not a culture fit, is because they brought rainbow chard salad to the work Thanksgiving meal. And I was having this conversation with someone. I'm like, this is it. This is exactly why you brought your rainbow chard. We've been slowly bleeding people, and we've successfully separated most of the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. And which I don't have a problem with. I mean, like, I'm still ready. I'm overworked, and I'm like, let's get rid of more people. Let's cut even more people from the company because they're not doing anything. And that's obviously a joke for comedic flair. But I was talking to another person at my work, and who had not been a part of the rainbow chard conversation previously. And I was like, hey, man, are you going to bring something for Thanksgiving lunch this week? He's like, yeah, I don't think I am. He was like, I was sort of put off by last year because I had this thing that just really tasted awful, and it set me off to where I just don't think I can ever participate in this thing ever again. I'm like, what is it? And he's like, rainbow chard. And I'm like, yeah. You're right. You're right to be angry. Much like the Americans who showed up to the polls a couple of weeks ago, you have a right to be angry. Whatever you're mad about, you have a right to be mad about that. Okay? It's all true. It's all true. It's all correct. Be angry. You should be. Let's get weird with it. But here's the thing. Rainbow chard is not the answer. Rainbow chard is never the answer. I don't even know what chard is. It's like some kind of leafy, veiny green. It looks like it's like green penises because of how veiny it is. And it's like if spinach were like on steroids. And so not only is it disgusting, but it's also really annoying and in your face about it. That's what rainbow chard is. So just say no to chard this year, this Thanksgiving. And everything will be fine. Let's see here. Oh my gosh. We watched this crazy movie this weekend. By the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but new movies are out. The era of new movies are over. You can't make a good new movie in 2024. And there's a few reasons for that. Obviously, the just the way that Marvel movies have destroyed the industry, for one. That's one reason why you can't do it. Another reason why you can't do it is because all of the good movies have been made. Another reason why is, wait, what was the other reason why? The other reason why is, we're so stuck in our head about what we think a new movie should be. I think it gets in the way of just making something fun. Like every movie is just it's either like it's like it's super ultra modern and just makes no sense, or it is trying to like sensationalize this aspect of life in such a way that it actually comes off as feeling plastic and unreal. And and I'm not going to watch this movie. Okay, let's just be real. I'm not going to watch this movie, but I keep seeing trailers for this movie with Aubrey Plaza in it called My Old Ass. And it's like, I don't know, it's like this girl of self-discovery of like, she's getting older and she's thinking about like all of the mistakes that she made. And so somehow she has gone back in time as like a specter or something and is now trying to tell her old self, like when she was younger, to like not make all the mistakes that she made. And it's just like, I think it's just like about a reckoning of like, of millennial women getting older and still being like attractive and be like, things could be better. But also things are already kind of tight. You're just being a fucking idiot about it. And I've not seen the movie. I probably won't, but I clearly have opinions about it. And it just feels so fake. And so the point is, like, movies not about introspection. Movies are about badassery, okay, and about ridiculousness and about shitty, cheesy special effects. And so the truth is, this is now the era of old movies. Like, new culture is done. We're now in the era of old culture, and looking at what used to be and really like digging into that, like this is a time of reflection. I think this is not a time of new ideas and we should be doing XYZ. This is a time of, what did it used to be? Why did it used to be so great? What's missing from that? And how can we take these building blocks to make a new future with that? And so if you want to really get a good idea of what America used to be and what it should be, again, go watch the movie Doll Man with Tim Thomerson on Prime Video. Prime Video has been really just a shining beacon of light in this household because there are so many. Here's the thing. In the last like 40 years, there have been so many just shitty average, like low budget action and horror movies that have been made that are timeless now, because now that they've aged and now that they have just a little bit of luster on them, they are vintage, and vintage is cool, right? Old shit is cool. And it's there's so many of these movies out there that you probably missed because when they came out, you saw them for what they were in the context of that time, which is mediocre. It's like, why do I want to watch the 30th Van Damme movie when The Matrix exists? And, in 1999, that is totally valid. But guess what? You've seen The Matrix 80 times now, but you have not seen the 30th Van Damme movie that he made in 2004 when things were clearly going downhill. And you're wondering, what is this guy doing? These movies are new now. I want to watch every single Steven Seagal movie that he made after 1999 because those are terrible. Okay. And what do we have in this world today other than making fun of shitty movies that you've never seen before? I mean, there's some real fertile ground there that you can explore. And that's what we do. And so we watched this movie called The Doll Man. And I think it's just called Doll Man. And it's got Tim Thomerson. By the way, if you want to talk about like cult classic, like B-movie megastar, you need to look up every single Tim Thomerson movie. I've just started. I think the big one for him is Trancers, which I just discovered they've made Trancers 1 through 3. I'm really excited to check out. Also, oh my God, let me tell you something about Trancers. I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but because I don't remember. It's about a guy. That's right. It's about a guy who is in this. Every Tim Thomerson movie is just like, I'm in the future, and then I go into like present day, and there's like a weird quirk about it. That's the whole thing. That's his whole modus operandi. And Trancers is like, he's in the future. It's a dystopian society, and he goes back in time to stop this dude who's like making zombies. He's making science zombies who do what he wants, Don't question it. And it's just like, it's got this like neo-noir vibe where he's just like, he's like one of those like gumshoe detectives who's like clearly like, he's like a burnt out cop. Every movie he's a burnt out cop. And he's just trying to do what's right, and so he goes back in time, and the way he does that, the way that they go back in time is by inhabiting the body of one of their ancestors from their own bloodline, right? So he takes over the body of like his great 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 grandpa or something, I don't know. And then he meets Helen Hunt, who just happened to be dating that person. And so now he's having sex with Helen Hunt as his ancestor. Probably, I mean, is that probably a little incestuous? Sci-fi. So all that to say, Helen Hunt is in these Trancers movies. And I was looking at Trancers 3, arguably the worst of the 3, I would assume. Arguably the most commercially unsuccessful of the 3, again, I would assume. And guess who's in it? Helen Hunt. Helen Hunt was in Trancers 3 in 1992. Almost a year or two before Twister came out. Which is like, I think that's the movie that made her a big star. I don't know. It's just so crazy to me to think that Helen Hunt was in Trancers 3 right before Twister. Which again just goes back to how amazing this country used to be. That Helen Hunt could be in Trancers 3 6 months before Twister comes out. and she's a huge star. I mean, if that's not a sign of the American dream coming to fruition, I don't know what is. And so, anyway, so we watched the movie Doll Man. Doll Man. And again, very similar beats to Trancers. Tim Thomerson, he's in the future, and he's a cop, and people don't like him because he tells it like it is, and he's he's like he's a what do you call it? He's what is that phrase? He's a maverick, you can't, that's not the phrase I was looking for, but it works. You can't control him. The system can't control Tim Thomerson in Doll Man. And so, he's chasing after this guy who's just on a head. He's just a head on a little hover disc plate, literally a head. Looks like shit. He's got a pistol that just is like a super cool atomizer, whatever pistol that makes people explode when you shoot them. And they turn into, when they explode, they look like the chunks of ground beef that you see in Good Burger when the burgers explode, just like very clearly not a human being. And it's so fun. And then as that guy, he is chasing. He's a cop, right? He just has a spaceship. Why not? Give him a spaceship. Fuck it. And he goes back to another dimension. Okay. He ends up on the planet Earth. Okay. In the hood. And now Tim Thomerson has to clean up the hood and stop the little head guy, right? Who's got a atom bomb or some kind of crazy ultra multi-dimension bomb that's going to destroy the universe. And he's got to do that and clean up the hood, which that's a tall order. And here's the twist. He's like, I don't know, he's like 6 inches. Like he shrinks down to be 6 inches, right? So he's in the hood. He's 6 inches tall, but he still has this gun that makes people explode. So he's still fucking dudes up. He's just a little tiny baby dude. And it's maybe one of the coolest movies I've ever seen. It was, I think it came out in the 80s, and a young Jackie Earle Haley is in it, who has been in such hits as Watchmen and the RoboCop remake. And whoa, young Jackie Earle Haley looks just like a strung out Ray Liotta. Which, for those of you who have been following me for the last couple of years, you know that Ray Liotta also looks just like my Aunt Nancy. And completely identical people. I'm pretty sure my Aunt Nancy was in Goodfellas. And I'm also pretty sure that she was now in Doll Man, portraying herself as Jackie Earle Haley. And it's just a really interesting movie. So you guys got to go check that out. And then check it out. And so this was really cool. So you thought that these really shitty horror smash up multiverse movies, you think the Avengers was trailblazing a path forward? No, they weren't. The true trailblazer was Doll Man. Because after Doll Man comes out, you've got, what's that? You've got this other shitty, it's a horror movie called Demonic Toys, right? And it's about it's about toys that kill people. Very similar to Small Soldiers. But so that movie, right? And then after those movies happen, there's a crossover. Doll Man versus Demonic Toys. Okay? So there's a multiverse of shitty horror and action movies from the 80s that you have no idea exists out there. And that's so amazing. That's one of the coolest things about this time, is that we can just go back and we can just watch all of these really shitty movies that, guess what? They were shitty then. They're good now. That's how bad movies are today. These movies are the best things that you could possibly be watching right now. I don't give a shit about your Yacht Rock documentary. Okay. I don't care about whatever. Like, what's that movie? Thunderbolts? Is that coming out with with Harrison Ford? He's dead. Stop giving him roles. He's dead. Okay. And I mean, how many also, like, let's be honest, how many movies is Harrison Ford gonna bomb before we stop giving him roles? Right? I mean, let's be honest. It's over. It's been over. I mean, I like that guy. It's been over. He's just taking paychecks. Okay, and that's fine. So anyway, probably gonna wrap it up here. Can't believe I did this for 45 minutes even. I mean, I'm not gonna do a full hour. That's ridiculous. You guys can't do that. You guys don't have that in you. I gave you 2.5 hours last week, and and also full candor, there may not be an episode next weekend. In addition to it being the holidays, and Thanksgiving and all that good stuff, it's our 4-year anniversary. We've been together for 4 years, which is wild to think that I could be with another human being for that long, and still be just infatuated with them in every way. And so we're going to be doing a little cabin getaway this weekend. It's going to be fun. I mean, I don't know. There'll be a hot tub. Maybe we'll podcast from the hot tub. That could be cool. Do you guys want me to ruin my weekend getaway with Allison to make another episode of the podcast? What do you guys think? Write in. Let me know. mail@adamacreecomedy.com. Also, I'll go ahead and take this opportunity to say if anyone has any questions that they would like to get answered on the podcast, any topics that you would like to discuss, please write us in. I'm still, at a point where I'm looking for guests to appear on the show. I've got some other folks lined up here in the near future. So I think that'll be fun. But yeah, if you know anybody that wants to be on the show, let me know. You can write in, or you can just message me on Facebook or something. So yeah, just let us know. And all right, there we go. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time.